Perfect form is overrated. I know that a lot of people are still struggling with the concept of perfect technique and thinking that a lack of perfect technique will lead to injury. And there is just so much information online about the need for perfect technique. The reality of it is that technique is an expression of your ability to perform a task, which that kind of sounds like a word salad. But really, when you're first learning to train, you're not going to understand what you're trying to do very well. You're not going to really know how to perform the task from a motor skill standpoint. So your technique is not going to be great when you're first learning to really do anything. Just go look at a baby learning to move, and babies don't move with perfect technique. I know that's an extreme example, but they learn to improve their efficiency and their movement economy over time by goal oriented movement. Babies are pursuing a goal, whether that be playing with their mom or, a cookie in the distance or just something they're interested in. And we learn to move and we express movement via the same mechanism. We figure out a goal and we pursue that goal. So whether you're trying to learn to squat, deadlift, bench press, jump better, or really any move, we have to understand the goal of the task, right? And this is something that a lot of people overlook, is they don't really understand what they're trying to do when they're like going to squat, right? They have all these ideas in their head, but they really don't have the simple framework of, I'm basically trying to maintain my center of mass over my midfoot or my base of support and sit down, right? People think there's all sorts of different things that they've heard going on when really it's that simple. Yes, we can create other constraints like putting a barbell on our back, and that is going to dictate how the movement will look to some degree, but we can also set people up for more successful performance of the task, meaning we can have people squat to a box or a bench because that takes a lot of the cognitive component out of it. Or we can also have people do things with a tempo to improve performance, right? But thinking that there's some form of perfect technique that will lead to an improvement in performance is kind of a misnomer. Really, what happens is when we see people with really good technique, it's a result of them practicing the movements and getting really good at performing movements at the fringes of their capacity. And even then, when people are demonstrating like a 1 rep max or very close to a 1 rep max, they are not utilizing perfect technique in that scenario. They are basically showing their ability to perform the task at the fringes of their capacity. If they want to have really good and efficient technique, that's definitely true, but people aren't thinking about having perfect technique. They're thinking about executing the goal of what they're trying to perform, and they have a high level understanding of that goal. We also, if we start to think about perfect technique, that doesn't really allow for play or improvisation to come out when people are performing movements in sport or in real life. Like, look at Patrick Mahomes. The dude, if he was always trying to throw with perfect technique, would not make a lot of the plays that he makes, right? And it's similar in other positional sports where people are learning to adapt and move, and they're doing it because they practice so much and that they just have built the capacity and the skill to make a play, hit a ball, do the thing. They're not thinking about perfect performance. They're thinking about accomplishing a goal. And the more you kind of learn that, if you think about accomplishing a goal, you're going to get better than trying to create some arbitrary perfect technique. There's some nuance here. I definitely want to perform movements well, but I don't want to have this neurotic idea of perfection in my brain when I'm going to do something that's challenging. What I want to do is put forth a high degree of effort and honestly feel what I'm feeling when I'm doing the thing, with as best of an understanding as I can. So let go of perfect technique, start to embrace goal oriented movements, and start to just understand the principles of goal performance and like creating constraints around the activities you're performing so that you can improve your skill and ultimately demonstrate good enough technique over and over again, because that's how you get stronger, that's how you get better, is that you have good enough technique and the ability to utilize that technique under a bunch of different states like fatigue or being fresh or in a new environment, XYZ. Appreciate the watch. Check me out at dave.strengthandkindness. Follow my YouTube channel for more twit tips like this.